237-year-old brand, iconic brand from India. Parry's Jaggery whole space is around 50-60,000 crores in our country.
Most of these units are very cottage industry focused, didn't have the right food licenses, no hygiene, no cleanliness. So I think we saw another opportunity there, organize the supply chain much better. Audiences around the world are looking for natural, healthier alternatives. I think Jaggery can play a huge role, ultimately having such a process, having strict quality compliance and quality control ensures that we're giving our consumers the best-in-class product, chemical-free, untouched by hand.
It's got trace elements of iron, magnesium.
Water use has come down by 75%. That's massive. We have, AI-based irrigation systems, and these systems are controlled by the farmer.
Parry's has conserved 7 billion liters of water.
In years of drought and even in the future, securing the watershed and securing the water resource is very, very critical.
You are thinking 20 years, 50 years, 100 years ahead. How do you have that mental model? Punchline for Parry's.
If we were to define the aspiration or the strategy, at least for the sweetener part of the business, it'd be sweetening India.
Two 37-year-old brand. Here is an iconic brand from India which has survived, I don't know what all, from war, different economic conditions, social conditions in the country, and has stayed strong, is loved by consumers and continues to grow. So all that we are going to listen from none other than Muthu, whom I have got to know yesterday. I spent a lot of time with him, and what I found is that, again, a reminder that great iconic brands, businesses are built by leaders who are absolutely grounded, humble, real, clued into the everyday, and at the same time setting agenda for the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. Muthu, great honor to be talking to you.
Thank you. It's lovely to be on your story, and welcome to Pugalur here, one of our oldest sugar mills, and of course now a Jaggery factory as well. The Murugappan group is into its 126th year. I represent the fifth generation of the family. So yeah, we've been around a while. The family, like many families in India and certainly in South India, they went out to Burma for their commercial pursuits. EID Parry it came to the group in 1981, into its 237th year now, but this is not a company we started. It came to the group, we acquired it. It was the group's diversification into the agricultural sector. And I think that's the legacy we carry forward. I think the core of EID Parry right now is a sugar and biofuel company. We also have a business which we started a few years ago, which is in packaged consumer goods in the food FMCG space. Business we're building out for the future. So it's a wonderful legacy. I think we're really grateful for the legacy, but I think the legacy is really what, it's not ceremonial in any way. It's really what's given us the platform, and it guides us to sort of build and shape for the future.
Muthu, growing up, many of us had Coffee Bite, Caramel, Lacto King. You're known for candies. What led to this shift from candies to building the sweeteners for pharma, wellness, for different industries?
So yes, Shradha, we grew up around these products as well. We loved them just as so many consumers did. The group decided, and this I'm going back 25 years or so, the group actually decided to divest the confectionery business. It was a business decision at the time. And of course, we then expanded and built some phenomenal scale on the manufacture and refining of sugar and the processing of its byproducts. But I think there were some tough years, particularly I would call out between 2010 and COVID time around the business of sugar. I think, that window of operation tightened, regulation tightened. I think the climate, we had many bad climate years. So the company certainly went through a rough period. So I think that was really why we decided to look back at the brand, how we could leverage it, build that moat around packaged consumer goods to, of course, harness that opportunity which was about to emerge in the country, and use the brand and leverage the brand to do so.
Now that I'm here and I'm seeing the scale at which you operate, and especially the sugar industry at ground level, it creates so much of employment for farmers. It's so important for the economy, and you've been shaping that, you creating that ground level impact. So tell us, what does it mean to run a sugar and lead in a sugar industry space?
The sugar industry is a challenging one. It is pretty heavily regulated. You're also dependent on climate per se. So there's a lot which is not in your control. So the window of operation is very tight. I think we live with that. We've lived with that for decades. Looking ahead, we really wanted to go out and build another business moat, which perhaps gives us more span of control and also enables value creation. I think it's a business mode which is really built on the back of the platform, the great farmer connect that we have, core ecosystem around sugar manufacturing. So I think that's what's enabled the expansion into firstly biofuels, especially with ethanol. So we're one of the largest ethanol manufacturers, certainly in southern part of the country. And of course, building the packaged consumer goods business.
Jaggery. India is the first civilization which had jaggery in the jaggery form, and so many benefits to jaggery. As a country, without getting into it, somewhere world over, sugar has taken that prominence. But you, Muthu, are now looking at giving jaggery its due at scale, at a very large scale. I was reading that packaged, unpackaged, the jaggery whole space is around 50, 60,000 crores in our country. And the packaged jaggery space is touted to be around 20,000 crores. Now that's huge opportunity. One, as a leader, how are you looking at the opportunity? And second, what are you doing? Tell us.
Jaggery is the traditional, Indian sweetener. It is a large market, I think, as you've articulated. The branded jaggery part of that is still only about 6 to 8%, so it's quite small. So, as a sweetener brand, I think we see a large opportunity there. That's what really prompted us as we started branding sweeteners. Fairly early on in that journey, we started looking at jaggery. So I think the white space excited us. Secondly, then we started looking at, okay, how do we go out and make jaggery? We make sugar. So we wanted to learn the jaggery, the art of making jaggery. So we went out and I personally have been to tons and tons of jaggery units just to understand it. Most of these units are very cottage industry focused, didn't have the right food licenses, no hygiene, no cleanliness, very small scale. And that's what we as consumers have been consuming for years. So I think we saw another opportunity there to go out and build some scale, organize this supply chain much better, use and leverage the knowledge we have in sugar manufacturing to put in place best-in-class processes to manufacture jaggery. We know very well that at least in recent times, health and wellness and health consciousness has gone up. It is, of course, a healthier sweetener choice. We like to call it the millet of sweetener. Millet is a hardy crop. It's a crop rich with fiber and nutrition. Jaggery again is a more sustainable sweetener. It typically comes from cleaner fields. You'll see the processing facility. It's less energy intensive. The product which comes out is more healthier. So various points, I think there's, it's a better carbon footprint. It's a healthier product, lesser use of energy. I think every household now has got an array of sweeteners. Jaggery is certainly one of them. So I think the consumption of jaggery, consumption occasions have grown. So I think all of this excited us, which is why I think we've also gone deeper into making jaggery as well as obviously branding it and putting it into distribution.
We are here at Pugalur in Karur district, Tamil Nadu, right outside Parry's factory, where we will see how jaggery is being produced at scale in an automated way. Muthu, take us inside and show us what's happening in the factory.
Sure, Shradha, come, let's go inside and take a tour of the factory.
Parry is so synonymous and successful in the sugar business. What got you to do this jaggery at scale, which we are seeing right here?
The opportunity, the white space in the market, Shradha, that's the key driver. We're a leading sweetener brand, and I think jaggery was a very natural extension. Secondly, I think there is a tailwind in terms of health and wellness and health consciousness. So I think consumers are yearning for healthier sweeteners.
We just don't even know. Whatever is there in the shelf, we have to buy. And it's good that you've got into with your history with Paris, that at least now with Jaggery, people will know where it is coming from.
Maybe this will inspire more folks to come in, and I think we'll welcome that. It will only grow the category. I think our vision to the future is that as an industry, and this is not just Paris, and I think as an industry, we can really serve a much larger global market.
Muthu, it's remarkable. Just walking across the factory, it's almost automated, semi-automated,
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
automated. It's spectacular. How did this come to be? Like, how did you manage to do this?
Obviously, we were looking to scale. We were looking at scale and creating some scale. So then I think we put pen to paper. This factory which we are in today is designed in-house. It's designed with a vendor partner of ours, exclusively, to manufacture Jaggery in this way. I think we drew on knowledge which we had in the sugar manufacture process, and then we came up with this factory. It still follows the fundamental principles of using waste streams as fuel. The waste stream from the process of sugar manufacture goes in as fuel. One waste stream is molasses, which actually gets converted as ethanol. Waste from the ethanol process also goes back into the boiler as fuel. It's called the spent wash. So I think in multiple ways, the process of manufacture of sugar, alcohol, Jaggery is quite circular, which is why I go back to saying this is really the millet of sweetener, because I think your energy footprint, your carbon footprint is significantly lower with a product like Jaggery.
Yeah, clearly it gives you a lot of competitive advantage.
Absolutely, I think that's the reason. Of course, we carry this right up to the consumer because of the brand who we are, and ultimately having such a process, having strict quality compliance and quality control ensures that we're giving our consumers the best in class product.
I wish there is a walkthrough for all the consumers, because this builds so much of confidence seeing behind how the Jaggery is being built. I would say this would be the largest space of automated Jaggery production that I have seen. Tell me, how is this way of creating Jaggery, producing Jaggery, different than the traditional way? Because this is so much of automation here.
Yeah, no, so the traditional, you'll see a lot of manual intervention. Even just these parts of the process here are all automated and mechanized. You'll see a lot of manual intervention in, cooking the liquid, cooking the clarification process, as we call it. And also the powder making, you'll see a lot of manual intervention. We've obviously automated all of that through a captively designed process. We didn't want any human touch. Just coming from that whole element, hygiene is lacking in the traditional rudimentary process, and that's what we wanted to solve for. So that's how we've designed the process. We wanted to give our consumers very hygienic product, chemical free, untouched by hand. And obviously, to really deliver that, we need best-in-class manufacturing process and automation. And we're able to now replicate these learnings into an even bigger and better facility, which will come up at the end of the year.
This is the biggest thing that I have seen. What Paris is doing. Just look at this. This is spread over 6 acres, this pond. 6 million liters of water conservation is happening, and total Paris has conserved 7 billion liters of water. I just can't even imagine the kind of support for farmers, for agriculture, for farming. Muthu, this is incredible. Tell us about this project, Naneer, that you have.
We're very, very proud of Project Naneer. It's into its 5th year now. So it's the watershed management initiative of the Murugappan Group. So it's actually led by the AMM Foundation, which is the group's CSR arm. And all of the group companies, support the AMM Foundation. So we really have to be thankful to the various group companies who helped support Project Naneer over the years. So what Naneer is essentially, it's very, very simple and basic, and this is not just for sugarcane. But I think wherever the group has, farmer catchments, we've done this watershed management work. It's really deepening some of the defunct water bodies, bunding them, strengthening them, and then harnessing the rainwater flow during the monsoon period. Essentially, what it does is, I think it holds the water together, and I think then flows water into the aquifers, the underground aquifers, which then make more water available to local farming catchments. So we do it at a certain scale. Yes, I think we are up to about 7 billion liters now. We'll be at 10 billion. We've done work across 40 to 45 different ponds across the southern states. In years of drought and even in the future, I think the securing the watershed and securing the water resource is very, very critical. And I think that's what Nanir is about. I think these ponds and water bodies and kanmais, they anchor communities around a bit of a shared belief, a shared resource, which is also very, very strong.
Muthu, have to tell you this, that coming here has been so inspiring as an Indian. Research and Development Center, which is 31 years old in Paris here. R&D is happening when it comes to sugarcane farming. But the question I have for you is that embracing AI, automation, using technology in farm practices and overall workflow.
As a company, as you said, we've had the R&D center now for more than 30 years. So I think we realized very early that a lot of R&D is required to strengthen our farm outcomes. So the center works on how we can improve yields, how we can improve productivity, giving farmers better varietals. Because ultimately, as a country, as we are rapidly growing, I think agriculture per se and sugarcane, which is a very relevant crop for us, is really being it's food. It's also now being thought of as fuel. So I think a lot of this work is important in terms of driving better farm outcomes. And obviously now with the advent of technology, I think that's given a further impetus to our efforts on the R&D front. So I think one area in which we're actively using technology is around irrigation. A very relevant topic at this point in time, especially as we're going into a sort of very strong El Nino year. We have AI-based irrigation systems. It's indigenously made systems. We've worked with a startup out of Bangalore. It basically senses the crop health, it senses the soil conditions, the weather patterns, and actually dispenses the right amount of water to the crop. And from the data that we're seeing, the crop is actually much more healthier.
நான் 32 வருஷமாக கரும்பு பயிர் செஞ்சு EID Parry கொடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறேனுங்க. இப்போ வந்து இந்த இது வரைக்கும் நடுநீராக கட்டினேன், மறுபடியும் சொட்டு நீர் போட்டணுங்க. அப்புறம் இப்போ வந்து இந்த சொட்டு நீர் கட்டும் போதே உள்ள போய் கட்ட நைட் இருந்துச்சு, பகல் இருந்துச்சு, சிரமமாக இருந்துங்க. அப்போ EID Parry மூலிமா வந்து இந்த தாயார் நீர் சொட்டு நீரை பற்றி விளக்கமாக சொன்னாங்க. அவங்க மேலே இருக்கிற நம்பிக்கை மேலில் எனக்கு நல்ல ஒத்துழைப்பு கொடுப்போன்னு சொல்லி அதை போட்டணுங்க. 8 கேட் வேலை இருக்குது எனக்கு 3 ஏக்கரா காட்டில். இப்போ தண்ணி ட்ரையாக எல்லா இப்போ எங்கள் சுற்றி பக்கத்து கிணறு ஃபுல்லாக ட்ரை ஆகிட்டுங்க. எம்பது ஓரளவுக்கு ட்ரை ஆனாலும் அந்த தண்ணி வந்து வாரத்தில் ஒரு ரெண்டு பாயிற அளவுக்கு எம்பட கரும்பு காயாத வச்சுருக்கணுங்க. அது காரணம் என்ன, அந்த தானிய சொட்டு நீர் பாசனம் தானுங்க. இப்போ இது விட்டுட்டு ஈரோடு டவுனுக்கு போய் 25-30 கிலோமீட்டர் போய் நான் தொழில் செய்யணுங்க, பால் பண்ணேன். அங்கே இருந்துக்கிட்டே எங்கள் ரிமோட்டில் செல்லுலேயே ஆப்ரேட் பண்ணிக்கணுங்க. அதனால் எனக்கு 2 தொழில், விவசாயம் பார்த்துக்கணுங்க, தொழில் நடத்திக்கணுங்க. அதனால் இது போட்டது ரொம்ப நல்லதுங்க. அதனால் EID Parryக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி சொல்கிறது கடமைப்பட்டிருக்குங்க.
So I have to say this is the most practical usage of AI that one is hearing. And have you seen by using this, has there been some quantifiable change, outcome
So
change?
we've done this in about 1,000 acres. Yields have gone up. Water use has come down by 75%. That's massive. So you asked about where the challenges are in really executing and implementing this. I think the challenge is in scaling. We have to really see how these technologies, how farmers are enabled to scale these technologies. Another area where we're working is very advanced imaging systems, which are satellite based, and they enable us to tell crop health, field health, when a crop is ready for harvest. It enables us to plan our harvests, ultimately plan our production. So I think these are areas in which we're on the back of a sound R&D platform, we're bringing technology in. And I think this technology over time will become a force multiplier going forward.
Wow. Finally, we are seeing the package Parry and the brand. I see the famous Parry brand. Now tell me, how are you looking at your expansion strategy for the consumers across the country?
Shradha, we're currently in the southern market. I think the primary objective is to expand distribution. And I think particularly in general trade, I think we're well covered in organized trade. But I think we need to expand further general trade distribution. So I think that's something which we're working on. We do have pan-India aspirations as well, but perhaps we'll need to focus a little bit more on the southern markets. We might do some organized trade expansions in the east and west, but I think there's a huge untouched part of the distribution channel in the southern market which we're really focused on now. So I think that's the primary focus with the Jaggery product.
I see, I was just reading while you were answering source of calcium and magnesium.
It's got trace elements of iron, magnesium, calcium. So it is, in that sense, a healthier sweetener than, say, your conventional sugar.
Thank you, Muthu, for giving us the opportunity to see the back end, because we never get to see the back end of how a process, how an Indian brand is today looking at quality, hygiene, and doing something at this scale. So yes, very proud. Again, I'm saying as an Indian, it feels very proud to be here and to see this journey.
We're fortunate to inherit this legacy in Paris, but this is a legacy and a tradition which is Indian. It's very central to our roots. So I think we're really excited about the responsibility that we have to shape the future of this sweetener.